Hello everyone, welcome to Positive Atheism English channel. Today I am here to present the book on Positive Atheism written by Gora. Gora is not only an atheist, he is a freedom fighter and social worker. In this book, we are going to know about his practice of his principles, experiences, struggles, achievements in the field of social change. Let us know about the Positive Atheism written by Gora. Chapter 1, Theism and Atheism. Theism and atheism express man's attitude to the world around him. Primitive man's world consisted of wind and rain, sun and moon, dream, disease and death. When people gathered into clans, families and tribes, the social needs of custom and morality cropped up into the world. In the modern age, political, economic and technological systems dominate man's world. With his skill, imagination and intelligence, with his feelings of fear, hope, love, greed and hate, and with his needs of hunger, lust, knowledge, plan, comfort and ambition, man reacts to his surroundings. The factors of the environment in their turn discipline and influence man's ways of understanding and the extent of satisfaction of his needs. Real man is himself in relation to his world. Man's reactions to his world has been of two kinds. First, he surrenders to the forces of his world and drifts in the stream of its factors. Second, he asserts himself upon the surroundings and harnesses the factors to satisfy his needs. The former is motivated by the slave mind and the other by his sense of freedom. Primitive man, whose knowledge was meager and sense of security weak, was more prone to be timid and submissive than bold and assertive. His method of understanding was simple and anthropomorphously analogical. So he imagined that a man like God created and controlled the world, and he surrendered to the concept that God should have been conceived in masculine form reflects man's domination. Faith in the existence of God was useful to the primitive man. It satisfied his curiosity. He thought that all the things and events were God's creation and dispensations. Surrender to God satisfied his slave mind. As the concept of God was fashioned after human form, God was attributed the human qualities of righteousness, love and mercy. Obedience to a righteous God, however imaginary, served him at that stage to establish moral conduct in social groups. Faith in a God of love and mercy kept up hope amid troubles. Further, worship of God with song, dance and ritual satisfied man's aesthetic cravings. Thus, the concept of God answered the several needs of the primitive man in a primitive way. And man stuck to God with intense faith. Along with God, man fancied the existence of soul as a detachable part of the body. Dreams were supposed to be soul's ramble in the strange lands during man's sleep and death as its permanent escape from the body. Imagination of the existence of other worlds like heaven and hell and of rebirth followed the need to provide disembodied souls with a habitation. Faith in the existence of soul and ancestral worship dispelled man's fear of death. Belief in the existence of God and of soul and the influence of the belief on man's conduct constituted religion. And the essence of religion was man's surrender to God. Therefore, in terms of God, which was the first one to which man surrendered, the attitude of surrender has come to be known as Theism. Religion was the early phase of the attitude of surrender. Surrender absolved man of the sense of responsibility and afforded him the security and tranquility of a caged bird. Within the quietude of religious belief, theists started thinking and grew rational. So the analogical method of understanding yielded place to the advanced way of causal logic and epistemological inquiry. Consequently, the concept of God gradually changed from the primitive fetish to a metaphysical notion of being and becoming. The noisy ritual, blood sacrifice, and ancestral worship of early religious belief were replaced by the silent meditation of later religion. However, intellectually subtle religious understanding was spiritual inasmuch as the concept of God, soul, other worlds, and afterlife were intangible. They were imaginary and not perceptible to the physical senses of sight, sound, taste, smell, and touch. Therefore, a further advance of rationalism carried theistic understanding from visionary spiritualism to concrete materialism. Materialism is irreligious because it rejects the notion of God, soul, other worlds, and afterlife for not being perceptible to the physical senses. It deals with the realities of physical circumstances and of political and economic situations. Out of the materialistic understanding of the world arose notions of natural laws like evolutionary process, dialectical development, geographical conditioning, genetic constitution, and historical necessity. Unlike faith in divine dispensation and inference, if basic being, natural laws are based upon concrete evidences. True materialism is more realistic than spiritualism. Materialism too is theistic, since it requires man's surrender to natural laws or to historical forces. As far as man's attitude to his world is concerned, the materialistic dictum, it is not the consciousness of men that determines their being, but on the contrary, their social being that determines their consciousness is not different from the religious prayer. O God, they will be done. Both signify man's surrender to the one or to the other. The only distinction between the two is spirituality is godly and materialism is godless. In short, materialism is godless theism. Therefore, theism is not so much the belief in the existence of God as man's subordination to something regarded superior to him. It is man's attitude of surrender to this world, whether it is understood spiritually or materialistically. Thank you.
For more videos, please subscribe to this channel Positive Atheism and activate the bell icon.